guys, Samantha from Jessama Tutorials here, and today I'm going to show you the Japanese technique used to fix broken pottery. And so we're going to be using polymer clay today, so we're going to have to imitate the look of pottery, and then we're going to break it on purpose and use some gold liquid clay to create the veining. So you're going to need some gold liquid clay. I'm using the Sculpey liquid clay, gold. You're also probably going to need some gold paint. This is the type that I'm using, but any gold paint should work. So just keep that in mind. Now, I'm going to be working with Primo today. But first, before we start our project, I'm going to just bring over a few pieces. I have not conditioned them at all. These are just some off-cut pieces that I have. You're going to need a good amount of white, fair amount of translucent. This is a fairly how would you say, all over the place recipe, so I'd say roughly about equal parts white to equal parts translucent, and we're going to mix that together. Okay, and then once you've mixed that, you're going to need some black embossing powder. I'm just going to open this up. Okay. And I'm just going to sprinkle in a fair amount. Okay, and then I'm going to mix that into the pasta machine again. Okay, and here's how it should look. So now I'm going to take a portion of that, just less than half, put that to the side, we will definitely be using that. And I want you to take some Primo Cobalt, and you're just going to need a pinch. So I'd say probably about 1/20th. Roughly of the clay, and mix that in. Okay, and there we go. So this has created a nice pretty soft blue, and this is a nice white, and it kind of has that faux ceramic look, I guess. So now we are going to cut out our pieces. Grab this one, and you're going to need 2 pieces of plain printing paper. And now this is 1mm thick, and so is the white piece. And I want you to thoroughly burnish this, getting rid of any ripples, fingerprints or anything like that on your piece. It's just going to make it a nice smooth matte finish. Okay, and then I'll just lift up to check that. That looks really nice. Put that to the side and repeat with your white. Okay, and here are our 2 pieces. So now I'm going to bring over my chosen cutters. Any cutter will work for this. I am using my pebble cutters, and we're going to be making earrings. So I'm using my number 3 pebble earrings, my number 3 pebble earring cutters large. Put those to the side. I'm also going to be bringing over my mini circle cutter set. Let's have a look. But again, any shape will work. So let me get that out of the way. And then you want to see what size is going to look best. So my second largest mini circle cutter looks the best. So the blue is going to be for my pebble cutters. Just going to take that, press down firmly and lift up, and smooth it back down onto the paper if it lifts up. Repeat with the other one. There we go, put those to the side. Then this one. We'll do the same. Take that, and if it gets stuck in the cutter, just blow it out. Very easy. And we will clean up the sides later on, because the sides are a little bit on the messy side. Okay, and if I have enough space, which I do, I will make a cut with my pebbles so we'll have 2 earrings. And put that to the side, we can use that for later projects. And this one. There we go. And just take another piece of printing paper. And just gently, very gently, I'm not pressing hard, I'm just going to burnish it back down onto the surface of the paper. So it sticks there. And just making sure that it is a nice matte surface, because sanding will be much easier later on if we do that. Goes forward, give them a quick burnish. Don't press too hard, you're just pressing hard enough for it to get stuck back onto the paper. There we go. And now these are going to go into the oven for only 5 minutes, and the oven mustn't be preheated. It needs to be a stone cold oven. You pop these in, set the temperature and set the timer for only 5 minutes, because what we want to do is we want to bake them enough so that they're hard but brittle. Because clay generally needs to be baked for at least 40 minutes before it is nice and strong. 5 minutes is going to ensure that they should be hard, but they will be nice and brittle, which means we'll be able to break them and then fix those cracks with the gold liquid clay, which is the technique that I'm showing today. If they're still soft when you take them out the oven, put them in for another minute and just repeat until the clay feels hard to the touch but is brittle. So 5 minutes should be enough. So I'm just going to go pop those in. Keep them on the plain printing paper when you put them in, and I'll show you what they look like when they're done. Okay, there we go. They're out of the oven, and they should be, I don't think dry is the correct word, but they shouldn't have the feeling of raw clay anymore. Now what you can do is you can run your finger along these edges, and it will be brittle enough that you can essentially just, scrape off those little bits that were left over by the cutter, leaving a nice smoothish edge. Okay, now I'm just going to pop these to the side, and let's start off with the white ones. Let's do these ones. So here's one. So this should snap, there we go, and it should snap cleanly. And now just remember to keep those pieces in place so that you know where they go on the design. Okay, and you can snap it as many or as little times as you want. Okay, just make sure to keep those pieces somewhat together enough that you'll be able to match it all back up into the right shape. So there we go. Okay, so you can see it. It's quite easy actually to break it all up, and now I don't want to break it up too many times. So now I'm going to just bring over my gold liquid clay, and you're also going to need a small brush. And I'm using gold because the technique is traditionally done with gold, but if you want to change the colour, use silver liquid clay, maybe any colour liquid clay you want, you can do that, but the traditional technique is done with gold. Just trying to get the gold out, there we go. So you need a fair bit because we're going to be doing all of them. So just get your brush pretty well coated in that, and take one piece at a time and brush that liquid clay along the edge, and try not to get it on the front of your piece. So what I like to do is I like to brush it on like so, and then wipe one side, wipe the other side. Press that into place. the next one. So. Press that into place. And then just continue doing it for your entire piece. Okay, and there we go. So now we're going to just give it a little cleanup. Just hold those pieces together and use a wet wipe just to wipe away that excess. And we're going to sand it so any little gold mica fluffy bits from the liquid clay that are left from tidying up like this will easily get cleaned up. Okay, and now there might not be a lot of gold on here at the moment, but that's fine, because what we're going to do after this has baked is we're going to take it and we're going to rub in some more liquid clay just to fill in these holes, but at the moment we need it to hold together first, so we can't do that just yet. So I'm just going to take this and flip it very gently, and I want to just clean up on the back side too. Go. And now that should hold together enough for us to bake it. So just grab your piece, you can hold it quite easily on your blade, flip it, and then you're going to bake it like that. And we will repeat with the other ones. Alternatively, if you don't want a really fine pattern, which is what I'm going to do on this one, I'm going to show you how to do the fine pattern, and then with these ones I'll show you how to do a thicker pattern. So put these to the side, and I'll continue doing that in a minute. And these ones you'll snap up and do the exact same thing as you did here, and then when you've got it lying on your table over here and all broken up and you've got the liquid clay, I'll show you what to do to make those lines a bit thicker. Okay, so here's the next one. So now you're just going to take a little bit of that liquid clay, and instead of wiping it away this time, you're actually going to paint it on like so. And that is how you would get some thicker veins. So I'll just continue doing that. And there we go. So you can see that those gold veins are quite a bit thicker. So you want to paint them on so much so that you don't see those cracks anymore. And you don't want a nice even line, they need to look like they've been soldered. Like so. And then once you've done that with all of them, I'm not going to be doing the little round circle pieces, I'm going to be leaving them as they are. I don't want them to look like they have been cracked. Just the pebble pieces. So once I've completed the 2 remaining pebble pieces, I'll put them in the oven for 40 minutes at Primo's recommended temperature, and then we can finish them off. Okay, there we go. So now I'm going to pop them into the oven, bake them for 40 minutes, and we will see how they look. These ones will need to give them a quick sand and antique. These ones will leave as they are, because if you sand you'll remove the top coat of liquid clay. Okay, so they're out of the oven. Now with some of them, like the ones where we've got the raised area, you may need to do just a little touch up to hide the cracks. Like here, we've got just a little bit there. And with these ones you want to sand them. So we'll do this one in just a moment. This one I want to sand very quickly. So just grab like a 600 grit sandpaper and just give it a very quick sand. We just want to get rid of the metallic particles that are on the surface of the clay rather than in the grooves. That won't take very long. There we go. Just about done. Okay. Then grab some liquid clay or metallic paint, whichever one you want. I'm going to be using liquid clay. Okay. Just gonna rub that over the surface, and that's just going to fill in any grooves that have been left open. And just grab a wet cloth and clean up that surface. Like so. Okay, and there we go, that's the first type. So that's pretty easy. And then you would do a touch up with this one. Before we do the touch up, I want to just put a backing onto it, because you can see here that we have some messy areas at the back. So just grab a piece of your clay that was left over from before, and this is 0.5 millimeter thick. And I'm just going to pop that onto the backing. And you can use some liquid clay to bond it, but you don't have to. And then I'm just going to squish that on firmly, getting rid of any air bubbles. Okay. And then just clean up those sides. Like so. And then what I like to do is I like to just take a piece of plain printing paper and just burnish the back so that we get a nice even matte surface on the back. There we go. Then just gently smooth around one more time, and that's your back done. Don't have to worry about sanding that now because we've got a nice matte finish to it. Okay, go. And once you've done that, just grab a little bit of your liquid clay. Just dab it along the area that you want to just touch up a bit. So the cracks should not be visible. There we go. And I'll pop that onto a piece of paper to bake. And this one you'll also put a backing on before baking. Then you'll bake all of them, and then we can get onto assembling. Okay, so all our pieces are out of the oven. And so now the last thing to do is to drill them. So the circle ones, you can do 2 holes, like so. And the pebbles, you're just going to position your drill bit and drill, like so. Very easy. And just make sure to clean up that hole nicely. Okay. Then you're going to grab 2 jump rings and a ear wire. Slide the jump ring on and attach those 2 clay pieces. Open the jump ring and attach the ear wire, and I've turned the loop on the ear wire so it faces the right direction. Okay. And there we go, very simple and very easy as well. So I've already finished the others, so let me just bring those over, and you can see and there we go. That's basically it for today's tutorial. So I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. If you did, please do let me know in the comments below. And keep in mind that this is a very versatile technique. You can change the colours of the veining if you want. You can change the colour of the base clay. And this also probably would be a fairly good tutorial for Sculpey 3, so long as you made the part that you crack fairly thin, and then you've got a different brand such as Primo as a backing for all the pieces, because the Sculpey 3 is very brittle. So anyway, if you enjoyed it, let me know in the comments below, and if you would like to support this channel, please do consider becoming a patron. I'll leave a link to my Patreon account in the description below. You get exclusive tutorials on there for patrons only, and you also get discount coupon codes to my Etsy shop, so that would be super helpful if you could have a look at that. And as always, I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye for now.